welcome into Soda City Living. I'm so excited to talk about one of my favorite things today, which is jazz. So joining us is Dr. Robert Gardiner, the founder of SC Jazz Foundation. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So excited to talk about one of my favorite genres of music. So for those who aren't the most familiar, how would you describe jazz?
Jazz is an American art form, and it was born in New Orleans, and primarily features components of the blues, and is based on improvisation. Yeah, jazz has been around for about 120 years now.
One thing I love about it is it's always so lively to listen to, and even if you hear the same song performed by the same group or the same person, it's going to be different every time.
Yeah, it's always going to be different, and that's part of what makes it so fun to play and so fun to listen to, is the spontaneity of it, and trying to be in the moment and express yourself and communicate, with the audience. So playing jazz in a live situation is one of the most fun things we can do.
Absolutely, and one of the most fun things just to be a part of, even if you're not performing, if you're in the audience experiencing that, and you can tell that when you're on stage, for example, you're just having such a great time riffing.
Well, I mean, we're fortunate. This is this is what we get to do for a living, and it's one of the most enjoyable things you can do. I mean, we play music all the time, we play jazz all the time, and it turns out it's a lot of fun, and especially when you get to make music with musicians, that you really like, that you enjoy being with, because not only are you trying to express something, yourself, you're also trying to express emotions within the context of a group. And so when you feel like you're working with other musicians and you're all getting on the same page, then it's really an amazing feeling. And then whenever you get to do that in front of an audience, and they can, they're going along the journey with you, and you can see the expression in their face, and you can tell that they're enjoying it, then it makes it even better. So it really is a very enjoyable experience for us, and so that's why you see the smiles on our faces.
Yes, one of my favorite parts of watching a live performance is when someone you're playing with does maybe something a little different, and you go, oh, wow, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, well, yes. That's the unexpected. It's the surprise. It's like you said a few moments ago. It's it's never going to be exactly the same, and so even if we play the same song, whatever 3 or 4 weeks in a row, or maybe even more, the idea is that we're trying to bring something new to the song. When we're doing that for ourselves, and for the other musicians in the band, and for the audience. Right.
So walk us through your journey in jazz.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing jazz and teaching jazz for quite some time. I've been teaching at Lander University in Greenwood, South Carolina for 23 years, and I do direct the jazz ensemble there. And before that, I was directing jazz ensembles at the middle school and the high school level. And also I was in the military band. I was in the Air Force band for 4 years playing in jazz ensemble. And so really I've been doing it for many, many years. And one of the primary focuses is the big band. Like we have an 18-piece big band, and that's something we've been doing for quite a while. But beyond that, I've been playing and leading jazz quartets. I've been doing it in the Columbia area for many, many years. Actually, I've been playing jazz and playing music on Fridays and Saturday nights for pretty much ever. My wife has just gotten used to it that I'm going to be gone on Friday and Saturdays, because I play at these clubs and restaurants, and have been doing that for many years.
Tell us about your education in jazz.
I did an undergraduate degree at the University of South Carolina in music education. I did a master's degree at DePaul University in Chicago in jazz studies. And then I did a doctorate of musical arts degree at the University of South Carolina in saxophone performance. And so I finished that in 2008.
So tell us about this saxophone that you have here.
This saxophone, it looks better than, it sounds better than it looks. I mean, this saxophone was made in 1958 or 59. This is a Selmer Mark VI tenor saxophone, and they quit making these a while ago. And so because of that, the value has just increased and increased and increased. And so now these things, if you have to pay a lot of money to buy a Mark VI saxophone. And I think I bought this one in in 1994 in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Like I traveled to this guy that was Tenor Madness, and I traveled there and tried like 20 Mark VI saxophones over a course of 2 days and found this one, And so, this is I really like this one a lot. I mean.
Yeah. What's so special about it, would you say?
Well, it's just, well, that's a good question. Because they do cost a lot of money these days. But it's the way they sound, the way the metal vibrates, and the way the air goes through the instruments. These saxophones, because they were made with metal that was somewhat randomly chosen metal, like left over from, military like bombs and things like that. It was the metal was not always the same, and so because of that, certain eras of these Mark VI saxophones will have a certain different kind of sound, and the specific era, and once again this has to do with the metal that they used, has a specific way of vibrating and a specific way that allows the air to go through. So
how did you get started playing saxophone?
I got started playing the same way a lot of people do, in the school band.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I grew up in Sherall, South Carolina, which you probably don't know where that's at.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, Sherall, South Carolina. It's like sort of northern central part of the state. It's in Chesterfield County. It's a couple hours from here, but I grew up in Sherall, which is also the home of Dizzy Gillespie, who was one of the founding fathers of American jazz. And so, and actually I got to hear him play a long time ago in Sherall when I was in high school. Which was extremely cool because all the musicians, we all revere him. We all, he is considered one of the most important jazz musicians to ever live.
Now, did you know back then that you were going to make that your career, or did you just really enjoy it?
No, I definitely did not know that, and I feel very fortunate that I have been able to make a career teaching and playing music. But I definitely didn't know it at that time. It's kind of been just, figuring things out as I've gone.